Hello and welcome to For the Love of You. I'm Reverend Portia Cavett, pastor of Clare Memorial United Methodist Church and American Heart Association stroke ambassador with Together to End Strokes here in Omaha. I just want to put a little plug in that we do have the stroke walk in North Omaha on Saturday, June the 1st at 9 a.m. We leave from Fontanelle Park and walk up to Adams Park. We would like to invite you to join us. It does not cost, but if you want a t-shirt, there is a cost for a t-shirt. Pretty soon you should be able to go on the American Heart Association website, or even the Power to End Stroke website, or even just contact me and say, Reverend, I want to participate in the walk. Today I am so happy to have Dr. Linda Smith. She is the Public Health Program organizer for the North Omaha Area Health, which is NOAA, which is right across the street from Clare Memorial United Methodist Church at 57th and Ames.
Yes.
And so it's a free clinic. And so, Dr. Smith, thank you so much for coming to share with us.
And thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here today. I really am just delighted.
Okay, well, tell a little bit more about NOAA before we get into our conversation about heart disease.
Thank you. NOAA Free Clinic is a clinic located at 5620 Ames Avenue. The clinic was founded by Ira Combs, who is a registered nurse. He saw the need in the community to meet the individuals where they are as far as their health needs, emotional needs, community resource needs. And so there at the clinic we have nurse practitioners, community health workers, individuals that help individuals then address their health goals and health needs.
Okay, and NOAA is a very good resource. I know I stopped in on the day that y'all were doing health checks, and got all of my vitals taken, and there was one that you got on me a little bit about, and it's so hard to cut down, especially during the month of February, to cut down on the fried foods or the soul food and cooking it like grandma used to fix it. But I am indeed looking at it. I want you to know on yesterday I cooked some vegan collard greens without any meat. And I went online and found the recipe, and it was pretty good.
Super.
It was really good. I didn't have cornbread because someone forgot to make the cornbread.
Oh,
darn it. I actually ate my greens, but I had some fried chicken.
Good for you. Great, great. Super, super.
So thank you so much for coming today. And so tell us a little bit about heart disease from your perspective and how you share it with the public.
Thank you. Yes, heart disease is the #1 killer in America still. It claims the lives of about 600,000 individuals per year, and that's about 1 in 4 deaths in the United States. We have made some headway with the decline in heart disease. However, it's still, unfortunately, still claiming lives needlessly. The term heart disease, when we say heart disease, we are referring to various conditions such as heart valve problems. There's heart pumping issues that we're speaking of. But the most common heart disease is the coronary artery disease. And that is the one that causes the heart attacks. And so we're certainly targeting that. That's our focus here today.
So is that having too much fat in your diet that clogs your arteries?
That's a contributing factor. What happens is there's a process where the plaque, which is like a waxy substance, builds up in our arteries. And what happens is the arteries become narrow, and then the blood flow is restricted. And that can equate to a heart attack or a blood clot. Okay,
so how can we keep those arteries open or the blood to flow properly?
Well, first of all, one of the major actions that one can take is obviously our food choices. It always goes back to that, right folks? Obviously being aware of, cutting down the saturated fats, the if you have high cholesterol or high blood pressure, keeping those conditions under control, working with your doctors, asking questions, following those regimens that they present to you. Having other individuals also work with you, a registered dietitian, to help you understand why you're eating, why the choices that are needing to be made because of the risk factors or the focus when you're looking at coronary artery disease.
So then, in essence, we need to start early because even as a toddler or a teenager, we want to eat the snack foods. We don't eat properly. Our plates might not look the right way. So as a public health program manager, how is it that, or what is it that you tell your clients that come in that have already made some poor choices?
Well, first of all, I certainly usually applaud the individuals for coming into the clinic, showing interest in wanting to do better with their health. Because it's very important to meet folks where they are, given any situation, primarily on health. So I make sure that the individual is very informed about risk. For example, with heart disease, even children are at risk. So we talk to the parents or the caregivers about the what goes into the child as far as if there's snacks. Look at the popcorn that are low-fat popcorn or the healthy popsicles, the fruit popsicles that you can make. Avoiding the processed foods and just being creative and letting the children understand that, hey, we're working on being heart healthy so we can get out there and ride our bikes and just have a good time. Starting early is the key.
Okay. And that's kind of hard too if you don't have access to the healthier food choices and you try to feed your children what you have, whether it's the sugary cereal or the hot dogs or hamburgers or pizza, whatever the case may be. And even in this winter season that we've had, it's kind of hard to get outside and to play. But nowadays, kids are not really playing outside. They might be playing on their PS4s or whatever the case may be. So how can we encourage families as well as children to get up and to be active? Because my generation, we were outside.
Oh yes, so were we. Yeah, it's critical. One of the things that we do at NOAA, individuals come in and we're very creative and very involved in giving information. For example, we may have a sheet that talks about how to eat healthy on a budget.
Okay.
And so I have examples of menu items, those sort of just different visual aids, if you will. Okay. So if an individual, if we're talking fruits and vegetables, I know fresh produce can be very expensive. So I say, well, how about we can purchase maybe canned goods, but let's rinse the green beans to cut down on the salt. So we talk about ways that we can modify so that we can at least minimize some of the issues that we're concerned about with the foods. Now, processed foods, that is one piece of I should say, information that we really want folks to understand. Processed foods are high sodium, period. So we really have to really find ways to say, hey, let's maybe perhaps get the rotisserie chicken that we can shred and put on top of our salad, etc., to minimize the processed foods, because that's where the trouble can begin.
So some of the processed are the snacks in the convenient and corner stores that are cheap, that people can afford and consume at a quicker rate or faster. It's kind of hard to fix a balanced diet or to cook. It's easier to go and get something. And I appreciate you saying about the canned vegetables to rinse them off. That's important.
Yes. So if we can and it's sort of neat because some of the individuals that come in, I said, let's sort of think about how our grandmothers prepared foods. They were not large consumers of meat. They pretty much took maybe a couple of drumsticks and made the best homemade chicken noodle soup,
Okay.
sticking as close as we can to basics.
And they had time, though.
They had
we're
time,
living in a ready-made society.
Yes, we want it now, and that's why crock pots should be our best friend. Crock pot. In the morning, get up, get the kids, everyone get organized, get ready, or the night before, put your chicken in the crock pot, onions, garlic powder, those kind of items, green beans. Put the lid on, everyone goes out the door, you get home, it's done.
So then we need to find recipes that are quick and easy
And
for a crock pot.
Yes, and they're online. You can put in heart-healthy, slow cooker recipes. Plenty of them online.
So to have a home-cooked meal versus going out purchasing.
Yes, because the processed foods with the, like I said, we are paying a royal price. We're paying a price in health. It's really, we want to refrain from that as much as possible.
Okay, and I do realize that it's cheaper to cook something homemade, but we have to make sure that we have the time.
Yes, and so when individuals come in, we really one-on-one offer suggestions, and I listen to what are some of the possible barriers that the individual may have, be it financial, time, what have you, because we really want to meet the individual where they are. I even offer to go to the store with the individuals to help them sometimes have a good understanding of what's what, organic versus
And so it's important to start in every family. I appreciate that Noah wants to meet people where they are. But then also, do y'all provide any cooking classes or even for the teenagers for them to learn how to cook heart healthy?
Well, when individuals, as far as the teens come in, we actually have samples of healthy foods so they can actually see, there's veggie chips, and they taste good. So we hands-on, let's go ahead and taste it. And we may have a recipe, something just to give that, this is not so bad. This is where we bought it. It was $1.90. Here it is. It's and just to mention some stores in town that are very health and financially friendly. Aldi's, Big Lots. These stores are very healthy and wallet friendly.
And so you have them there in the office.
Yes.
I love the veggie sticks, but then most people would not necessarily buy them if they see them up above the Cheetos or whatever. So to have a taste and give people an opportunity, that's an important aspect. I do realize that also in March is the Black Family Health and Wellness, so there is another opportunity for people to participate in a free health clinic. But to know that Noah is there located on the corner of 56th and Ames, that they can come in. What's something else that you would like to share with our viewers today?
Well, at Noah Clinic, thank you. We're a great resource right here in the center of the community. We have an eating program where individuals can come on Thursday evenings, 5:15 to 6:15. It's led by a nurse practitioner. Very informal. It's free. So individuals can come in. They weigh in every week. It's very informal. You share with individuals that are also, working hard to improve their weight. It's been a phenomenal program, weight loss, individuals that have thought, I would never be able to do this. So it's been a very successful program. And like I said, it's every Thursday, 5:15 to 6:15. Nurse practitioner led. It is awesome. So
are those persons that participate, are they only talking about what they're doing, or are there things that are giving out challenges for that week that the participants have to do?
It's very reciprocal. There's information there. So any of the challenges that the individual have mentioned, maybe behavior, how can I resist this fried chicken? And it's so interesting because we may say, here's some information that has been very helpful to others. So the sharing of the information at those afternoon sessions are awesome. And we also invite speakers in, a registered dietitian, whomever that the individuals
Want to hear from?
Yeah,
Okay.
exercise physiologists if they feel that would be helpful.
And so it's just 60 minutes, and so people
Yes.
come and share
Yes,
together. And I
mhm.
think having some
Yes.
camaraderie and to
Yes,
share with other
that's a
people
key.
helps.
Yes, and you weigh in every week, and obviously all information is kept confidential.
Okay.
And if there's diabetes or any other health concerns, certainly myself and Mark Darby, the nurse
Okay.
practitioner that leads the program, we certainly will work with individuals one-on-one
Oh,
to
okay.
make sure that they're
Well, I
on
might
track.
need to come and join that.
Yes, it's awesome. They have a good time.
Okay, so what are some of the signs and symptoms of heart disease, since you said that's what we wanted to talk about today?
Okay, great, thank you. Great question. Well, for the heart disease, the coronary artery disease, one of the first signs the individual may see is the chest pain, or a heart attack may be the first sign.
Okay.
Because when we look at the blood flow to the heart now has been minimized or restricted, so the heart cell does not have the oxygen that it needs. And so that's where that heart attack issue comes in.
Okay, now,
So,
but women also have back pain or
Yes.
shoulder pain, so it's just not in the
Yes.
heart area.
yes, and thank you. As we continue with those signs and symptoms,
Okay.
and thank you. Yeah, there is a difference sometimes. Most individuals will have the chest pain or a heaviness feel to their,
Okay,
in their
heavy.
chest, like someone sitting on their chest. You may have the jaw pain, the neck pain, the arm pain, the back pain, which is
Okay.
maybe uniquely different from the women and the men, where men tend to not have the back pain.
Okay.
Nausea and vomiting. Nausea, again, women may have that more so than men. The lightheadedness, breaking out in a sweat. Okay, so weakness. Any of these symptoms warrant calling 911, not self-evaluating, not calling Aunt so-and-so that's in the medical field. Call 911 right away if any symptoms yourself or any family member, or if you're at church and someone is presenting such symptoms, get your help.
Because something is happening and of the essence.
Yes, and requires immediate attention. That's one of the primary concerns that we have in the country here, that there's a delay. Most sudden deaths from heart attacks occur outside of the hospital, and the contributing factor is that delay with the onset of the symptoms.
Okay, so we really have to look at
Yes,
that, and we know that our eating habits kind of
Yes.
attribute to it being sedentary, not exercising or working out like we should.
Yeah, time management.
Okay.
And when it
Stress.
comes to stress, obviously, time is a big factor that folks mention. But if you just think of increments, possibly like 10-minute increments. In the morning, 10 minutes, or 10 minutes in the evening.
To do
Just-
some type of
Yeah,
strenuous
some type of
exercise?
activity where you can get that heart rate within your target range for your age and for your weight. And there's ways to find out what your target heart rate is.
Okay.
Now, always you want to consult, of course, with a doctor before you embark upon any exercise regimen, because there's individual factors that may have to be considered.
Okay.
Okay, especially if one is diabetic. With diabetes, there has to be a balance with the amount of food that one eats, the exercise, okay? And so there's like a triangle of things to think about, exercise, eating, and the insulin possibly.
Okay. So now, is heart disease hereditary, or is it based on our activity and eating?
Yeah, there's some individual risk factors increases one's risk for heart disease. Now, some heart conditions are congenital, which means at birth.
Okay.
So obviously, I want individuals to be aware of that. But when you look at your risk factors, that should be the roadmap to, number one, saying, hey, doctor, my risk factor, I'm aware of it, so please help me think about prevention or delaying the onset.
So what are some of the risk factors again?
The risk factor are age
Okay.
and certain health conditions itself,
Okay.
like having high cholesterol, having diabetes, having high blood pressure.
Okay.
So the key with these conditions is that you want to manage them. Keeping these conditions managed will minimize your risk for the heart disease.
Okay. So then if I have diabetes or
Diabetes.
high blood pressure or high cholesterol, then
Yes.
take my medication,
Exactly.
eat properly, exercise, rest,
Yes.
keep down my stress.
Yes, and if your regimen, if you have a concern about your regimen, you certainly don't want to take it upon yourself to stop taking your medications, that sort of thing. Always consult with your doctor and asking to see a registered dietitian to have a better understanding of your high blood pressure, your diabetes, your high cholesterol. You know, these interdisciplinary, in other words, other professionals are a team, and they're there to help you, your pharmacist.
Okay.
Consult with your pharmacist if you have questions. That's what they're there for, to help you improve your health.
Okay, so
Yes.
there's a lot to do to make
Yes,
sure
yes,
that
yes,
I have good heart health
Yes.
and
yes.
to take care of myself. So is there anything else that you would like to share with us?
Well, I certainly do. At NOAA, we are very into making sure individuals have resources and tools, and this has been very effective with the individuals we serve. So what I have, for example, individuals get tips for talking with the doctor, because in many cases it's like, what do I ask? I don't even, he or she is in a hurry. So we help streamline some of that concern.
So these are all questions that people can
questions
ask their
to ask
physician.
your doctor during a visit. So this helps get the ball rolling. And then, of course, we have handouts on how eating healthy. And so resources that are patient-friendly, because we want to make sure that it's not in medical language that's ridiculous. And then we also have information, of course, from the American Heart Association that reiterates on all of the things that individuals should do to help improve their heart health status. So it's important to make sure that the individuals have info from credible sources.
Right, okay.
Credible sources.
I
That is
got
very
you.
important. Not TomGregoryBasement.com. Okay? .gov sources are reliable, of course. American Heart Association, et cetera, or organizations, you know, like if it's arthritic problems, something like that, arthritis.org. So making sure it's reliable information. That's critical. Okay.
Well, thank you so
Yes,
much
yes.
for sharing this information. We will post these at the end of the show so that you can see them, but always feel free to come over, to
Yes.
call, or to stop in and to visit at the NOAA Health Clinic, 5620 Ames Avenue. If you come up 56th Street and turn not to Clare United Methodist Church, but turn in the opposite direction, and the NOAA Clinic is inside that building, and they will help you. So we appreciate the Eating Right, the 15th health tips that can be given out, as well as I really like the tips for talking with your doctors, questions to ask during a medical appointment. And so we'll make sure that we post this. As we stated, we are in partnership and trying to make sure that information gets out as it relates to American Heart Association and different things. And so we thank you today for tuning in to For the Love of You, that you may know more about heart disease, that you would take into consideration your risk factors, as well as the signs and symptoms that you may be feeling, and call 911 immediately. We want to make sure that you are taking the best care of you that you can. As the Lord says, realize that you are the temple, and that we have to learn how to take care of our temple each and every day. Thank you.
Thank you.